Buzzfeed will lay off about 15% of its staff, and it's going to completely shut down the news unit itself.
How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about BuzzFeed News being completely shut down. Now, elephant in the room, I'm surprised that BuzzFeed is still here. I thought they would have been gone just like Gawker is gone after the whole Hollywood Hogan inappropriate tape lawsuit kerfuffle. I thought they'd have been gone a long time ago. BuzzFeed might have been hot about 10 to 15 years ago, but right now, 2023, they are a mockery. They are a joke. They had some of the wokest articles, most ridiculous, nonsensical, stolen content that I've ever seen in my entire life. But I'm glad that this piece of the fake news industry is dying, especially since they were the main people that were pushing that fake Christopher Steele dossier. Remember that whole situation, the fan fiction that was passed off as real, talking about Donald Trump had girls pee in the bed where Barack and Michelle would stay in Russia, ridiculous stuff. And before I go any further, let's roll the news clip. If you want to see this clip and or read articles in full without my commentary, link as always will be in the description. If you're on IG, visit the link in the bio and go to the corresponding article on the website. But without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Just in the last couple of minutes, we've learned BuzzFeed has decided to shut down its newsroom.
Yeah, Jose, this is no doubt a rough day for the news business. So in an email sent to BuzzFeed.
Let's pause right there. Is it really a rough day for the news business? I guess it is rough for them on their side of the proverbial aisle, but not for me. It's a day to celebrate, but let's continue.
BuzzFeed employees, CEO Jonah Peretti laid out the cuts and the implications there. BuzzFeed will lay off about 15% of its staff, and it's going to completely shut down the news unit itself. It's going to amount to around 180 people losing their jobs. And you may recall BuzzFeed had already cut around 12% of its staff just this past December. Just a year ago, CNBC had reported that some BuzzFeed investors had been pushing the company to exit the news business. Now, in the wake of this announcement, all of the news content at BuzzFeed will be folded up and wrapped up into its Huffington Post unit. And this is, of course...
I didn't realize that BuzzFeed Huffington Post were the same. That's interesting. Maybe I did know that, but I had forgotten about it. Very interesting.
All happening on the same day, Jose, that other digital news platform, Business Insider/Insider, announced that it will cut 10% of its staff, given what it characterizes as the same economic headwinds facing other media companies. So this is one of those stories right now where we're kind of figuring out whether or not the broader economy is going to have a real jobs effect, and it's happening right now.
Dominic Chu, I thank you so very much.
Hey, you know what you got to do? Learn the code, right? Ain't that what they told us? And you know what? We know that the coal mining jobs are leaving West Virginia, places like that, but you guys will be just fine. Y'all learn how to code. Y'all learn how to code too. Okay, build a hustle, build something other than working for BuzzFeed News, right? But anyway, I digress. Now, here is something that's really important. This is from Paul Sperry. Shout out to him on Twitter. I can verify this at a later time. Maybe I'll put a link in the description. But he says, breaking, ex-BuzzFeed editor Ben Smith now admits he knew at the time he published in full the fake Russia dossier that it contained clear errors. In fact, one of his editors, Miriam Elder, warned it is not just unconfirmed, it includes some clear errors. He published it anyway. Now, I remember just a little while ago, well, it's been almost about a year and a half, going on 2 years in November or October. Remember 2020? Well, actually, it's been longer than that. That was 2020. We're in 2023. It's been almost 3 years. But remember 2020 during the election where they had the Hunter Biden laptop story and 51 intelligence officers, former intelligence agents or whatever, wrote a letter talking about this has all the hallmarks of Russian disinformation. And you were not allowed to publish that on Twitter. Well, not publish. You were not allowed to post it on Twitter. They said New York Post had misinformation. They didn't do their due diligence, all this, that, and the third. So New York Post was villainized for posting something that was obviously real. I mean, there was videotapes. There was everything. There was all sorts of evidence. It was clear that it was Hunter Biden's laptop, but that was not allowed to be out there on the eve of the election. If it was allowed to be out there, if it was given legitimacy, we could have a different president right now, just as a result of that piece of information being released to the public, right? The October, November surprise. Okay. But in this situation, they have a thing that they knew was fake. It was clearly fake, and they still published it. And then there was no consequence. You can repost that dossier. You could do hit pieces on it. You could do whatever you wanted with it, and it wasn't a problem. Although it was obviously fake, straight fan fiction, no evidence whatsoever to corroborate it. But you had physical hard evidence of the Hunter Biden laptop, and that was not allowed to be out there. So we know really who has favor and who doesn't in this country. But yeah, some of the BuzzFeed stuff was ridiculous. I mean, BuzzFeed being as ridiculous as it is and as it was should have been a red flag. Matter of fact, I have an older video. Shout out to Sunny V2, a content creator on the YouTubes with quite a few subscribers. Here is an older video that has some previous BuzzFeed headlines. I won't have the sound on or anything. We're just going to kind of get through it right here. Okay, this is how BuzzFeed looked. Just BuzzFeed itself. And then some of these, it went into the whole news thing. Why it's time to ban straight people. Aladdin's dad is the hottest Disney DILF of all time. We don't need to go into what that means. You guys know what's going on. This is pretty weird. You know what that says. Very inappropriate if I do say so myself. But this is what they do over at BuzzFeed, right? Okay, like, what are we even talking about, BuzzFeed? What are we talking about? How was a website like this taken seriously when it comes to news? New York Post may publish some entertainment headlines, but nothing as ridiculous or racist or just gross like they do over on BuzzFeed. Okay, you can say whatever you want in this country if you're a mainstream media outlet, if it aligns with the left. If anything happens to get in the way of the left's agenda, it kind of blocks their candidate. It kind of stops their motion. Then they want to put a pause on it. This is a clear example of that. But I'm glad, as I close, that BuzzFeed News is dying. Hopefully the whole company goes away next. And their parent company, I guess it's Huffington Post. So I don't know what's going on with that. But they can go away as well. Huffington Post, all these different leftist, far leftist outlets that put up a bunch of news, they characterize it in a certain way. A lot of op-eds attacking conservative people. They may also go the way of the dodo bird for all that I care. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? How do you feel about BuzzFeed News finally dying, being shut down? 108 people now unemployed. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments below. You guys pretty much know where I'm at. They most certainly deserved it. I'm surprised that the entire company is not shut down, quite frankly. But the news portion being shut down, I guess is a good thing. If they're going to transition to Huffington Post, it's kind of a lateral move. But hey, I'm glad that this company is experiencing this. And I think a lot of other ones should be right beside them, experiencing the same thing. Now, I don't wish that, regular normies that don't know any better lose their jobs and be struggling out here. But come on, if you're complicit in this, like the editor that knew that the Steele dossier was fake and decided to put it out there anyway, if you're complicit in that kind of behavior, you need to get out, be on the streets and learn how to code, because you're not going to be able to get a job in the news industry anymore. Or at least that's just my hope in my heart. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.